Welcome to the CBG show. Today's November the 7th, 2014. My name's Chris Brentlinger Grant.
And I'm Amar Khan.
We're actually thinking of renaming the show A Summary of Why Chris is Crying All the Time. Here's why. My beloved Cincinnati Bengals, the football franchise I would do pretty much anything to see them win a Super Bowl or even win a playoff game for that matter, lost in humiliating fashion at home to the Cleveland Browns on Thursday Night Football, 24-3. Andy Dalton, the guy who got the contract this past summer that topped $100 million, was absolutely horrendous. His final stat line pains me so much it's like daggers are going through my eyeballs. Dalton finished the game with 10 completions on 33 attempts for 86 yards and 3 interceptions. To put things into perspective, he registered a quarterback rating of 2. In ESPN Fantasy Leagues, he scored -3 points. Glad I decided to roll this week with Matty Ice against the Bucks.
Cleveland improved to a stellar 6-3, earning a share of the AFC North lead with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We never get to say that the Cleveland Browns are above 500 this far into the season. Show favorite Johnny Football Manziel will likely not get to touch the ball from here on out due to the success that quarterback Brian Hoyer has been having. But I'm sure the people of Cleveland will trade a Manziel appearance for their first playoff appearance since 2002. Some games to watch this weekend. It's always a must-win game in the biggest and most historic rivalry in the NFL. But this week's matchup against Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers that will really be a must-win for the Chicago Bears if they want to have any realistic chance of making the playoffs. The Bears are 3-5 and are coming off back-to-back losses to Miami and those dreaded New England Patriots. They've also lost 4 of their past 5 games, including a blowout loss to these Packers, 38-17 at home. A game that is flying under the radar, but one that we're definitely keeping an eye on this weekend will be when my dude Kel Daddy's Kansas City Chiefs travel to Buffalo to take on the upstart Bills at Ralph Wilson Stadium.
Name drop Dylan Kellner. I love it. Both teams are 5-3 and have some very impressive weapons on offense. These teams' defenses, though, have really been what have been winning games for them this season. Buffalo needs a win to keep pace with our enemies, the New England Patriots, in the AFC East standings. I'm calling a close game here that'll probably go right down to the wire. I'm calling 20-17 Chiefs.
The last game of Week 10 of the NFL season may indeed be the best one. The Monday Nighter this week is a doozy. Although the Carolina Panthers have struggled mightily at times this season, Cam Newton, Luke Kuechly, and company are still very exciting to watch. We'll be taking time out of our days on Monday night to watch them when they travel to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles.
Mark Sanchez is going to get the start for Philly. He came in and replaced Nick Foles in the first quarter of last week's game after Foles left with a broken collarbone. Sanchez had success spreading the ball around, particularly to receiver Jeremy Maclin. We're calling it right here, right now, that Maclin will have another monster performance. I'm also calling for a win for Philadelphia, 27-20. I just don't see the Panthers being able to hang around in a shootout against this potent Eagles core of receivers and their much improved defense.
I'm also hoping that there's a butt fumble somewhere in there.
Classic Sanchez.
All right. Wednesday was a great day for Hoops fans as the Toronto Raptors picked up where they left off last season as they came back to beat the Boston Celtics 110-107. Kyle Lowry stepped up big in the absence of Jonas Valanciunas and Amir Johnson, dropping 35 big points. Lowry was as clutch as ever, hitting the game-clinching step back to put the Raptors up for good. This was an incredible win for the Raps as they were out-rebounded by 31, but were able to force an astonishing 27 turnovers, playing some great team defense.
Kelly Olynyk out of South Kamloops High School put up 18 points and 13 rebounds in one of the better games he's put together of his young career. The Raps will host the Washington Wizards in the dynamic backcourt of John Wall and Bradley Beal on Friday at the Air Canada Centre. Toronto will wear their purple throwback jerseys from their inaugural season, easily one of the best jerseys around to date.
Gordon Hayward, the man, the legend, and the basketball player who said he could beat LeBron James one-on-one, in League of Legends that is. He came up huge for the Utah Jazz as they upset the Cleveland Cavaliers 102-100 on a game-winning buzzer beater by Hayward. The Butler product had the play of the game, first giving LeBron James a taste of his own medicine with a huge chase down block, then running the floor to finish the play with a dunk.
The block was a goaltend. but that's none of my business. There seems to be a bit of tension between Cavs players as Kyrie Irving, the team's star point guard, finished the game with a total of 0 assists. I wouldn't read too much into the situation, however. We're only 4 games into an 82-game schedule, and this is a team with 3 guys who are accustomed to being the guy. It'll take some time. Breathe, Ohio. Breathe. The Indiana Pacers put up a fight against the Washington Wizards in a tough loss 96-94, despite them missing 4 starters. The lone regular was Roy Hibbert, who struggled mightily, going 0 for 7 from the floor. With the Pacers down by 2, they elected to try for the win, but after not being able to get the ball into Chris Copeland's hands, Roy Hibbert ended up taking a 3, which came up short. Hibbert had a tough time hitting his easy 5-footers, but decided to take the 3 with 5 seconds left in the game. The Pacers are now 1-4. Last year, they didn't have 4 losses till mid-December.
Extremely poor play and decision by Roy Hibbert there.
This is a rough season for Indiana. Paul George can't come back soon enough.
Yeah. An Andrew Wiggins update for you guys. The Minnesota Timberwolves forward scored a career-high 17 points, hitting 7 of his 12 shots against the Brooklyn Nets Wednesday. The young Canadian star seems to be getting the hang of the NBA game and settling into his role. The T-Wolves went on to beat the Nets 98-91.
Classic hockey things transition. John Tavares played hero for the New York Islanders as they beat the Anaheim Ducks 3-2 in overtime. Johnny T opened the scoring, giving the Isles a 1-0 lead heading to the second frame. In the second period, Kyle Okposo scored for New York, but the Ducks answered with goals from Matt Bolesky and Emerson Eatham. The third solved nothing, and we needed
overtime.
Tavares scored on the power play, beating Jason LaBarbera 5-hole. The Islanders now have 8 wins. It took them until November 17th to do that last year.
The Toronto Maple Leafs didn't have to panic as Richard Panik scored late to force overtime against the Colorado Avalanche. Overtime settled nothing, so the shootout was necessary. It was incredibly one-sided as Jonathan Bernier couldn't stop a single shootout attempt as Nathan McKinnon, Matt Duchene, and Alex Tanguay all scored.
A couple of scary incidents happened in this game. Daniel Winnick needed to be assisted off the ice on a stretcher, and Jake Gardner suffered a bone bruise after taking a Jerome McGinley shot to his knee. Winnick was okay and was seen walking around after the game. Gardner will be reevaluated soon.
Your hometown Vancouver Canucks started their 3-game California stint against the San Jose Sharks Thursday. San Jose was ready from the get-go, getting quality chances on Ryan Miller early in the first. However, James Shepherd gave them the lead midway through the first. Despite being dominated, the Canucks' Radim Verbata scored on an effortless wrist shot with 10 seconds left. In the second, Logan Couture scored his 7th of the year on the power play, but the Canucks refused to go down. Alex Edler scored off of a well-placed slap shot, followed by Nick Bonino scoring the eventual game winner as Ryan Miller shut the door the rest of the way.
Miller made 34 saves in the game, with 14 of those coming in the third period. The Canucks' 3 off-season acquisitions really showed their worth, making key plays when needed. Vancouver plays the Los Angeles Kings Saturday night, then the Anaheim Ducks on Sunday. Saturday games to watch are when the New York Rangers visit the Air Canada Centre to play the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Colorado Avalanche seem to be getting their swagger back, and it'll be tested against the Philadelphia Flyers in the city of brotherly love.
Sunday has the Detroit Red Wings hosting Steven Stamkos and the Tampa Bay Lightning, while the Chicago Blackhawks welcome the struggling San Jose Sharks to the Madhouse on Madison.
Came out this morning that Toronto Maple Leafs forward Carter Ashton was handed a 20-game suspension for violating the league's substance abuse policy. He claims that there was something in an inhaler he was given by a player for asthma. He will not be appealing the NHL's decision. Ashton was drafted by the Tampa Bay Lightning with the 29th pick in the 2009 draft.
Well, that does it for us here at the CBG show. I'm Archon.
I'm Chris Brentlinger-Grant.
Peace out.
Shout out Max Hacker and Ohio State quarterback JT Barrett.
See ya, Cal Daddy.